Hi students, in this chapter we're going to learn about the states of matter. We all know that water becomes ice when you cool it below a certain temperature. Similarly, the water we see in waterfalls or the water we drink, it's in the liquid state, isn't it? Similarly, when we boil water, steam comes out. Steam is a gas, isn't it? That's what we're going to study about in this chapter. The states of matter: solids, liquids and gases. Ice, water and steam. So let's study in detail exactly what are the properties of solids, what are the properties of liquids, what are the properties of gases, and then let's try to understand all these at the level of particles and molecules. Let's proceed. The states of matter. As we already know, the three states of matter are solids, liquids and gases. Let's discuss some properties of solids. These properties are common for all solids. Consider this book, this pen, these two logs here. All of them are solids. If you look around, you'll see that the computer you're using, the table, the books around you, the glasses, all of them are solids. One amazing property of solids is that they have a fixed shape and volume. Look at this yellow book here. Its shape is fixed and its volume is fixed too. If you move your hand, along the edge of this book, you'll see that its shape does not change. It's fixed. Similarly, the volume is constant. Solids have another important property. They can't be compressed. So if you try to press this book down, press it hard, you'll still see that there's hardly any compression in the book. The book does not become, thinner. It still stays the same book with the same fixed shape. So these are two important properties of solids. Solids have a fixed shape and volume and they can't be compressed. Then of course solids have another property. Solids in general have a very high density and they are very heavy. If you weigh, an average book, its weight might be something around 1 kg. This book, for example, which is so thick, weighs 1.5 kilograms, as you can see from the mass balance. The point is that solids in general are very heavy and they have a very high density. Density refers to the mass per unit volume of a substance. So how much does 1 meter cube of a substance weigh, or how much does 1 liter of a substance weigh? That's what density means. We already know, for example, that if you take 1 liter or 1000 centimeter cube of iron, the iron block will be very, very heavy. On the other hand, a liter of water is so light. So you can say that solids have high density. Another fascinating property of solids, which you're already familiar with, is that they do not fill up a container completely. If you take a large container like this blue container here, and if you drop a book, which is a solid, into the container, the solid will still occupy the same volume that it was occupying earlier. It will not expand to fill up the entire container. Now this might seem obvious, but it is also an important property of solids. There is empty space all around this book because the book does not expand to fill up the container. It retains its volume. So these were the important properties of solids. The first thing was that solids have a fixed shape and they have a fixed volume. The second thing was that solids in general cannot be compressed. The third thing was that solids have very, very high densities. And of course, then we just saw that they do not fill up a container completely. So these are the important properties of solids. Why exactly do solids have these properties? We'll study all that later in this chapter. For now, let's solve a small problem related to these properties of solids. When we pour sugar in a container, the mass of sugar takes the shape of the container. Then how can the shape of sugar, a solid, be constant? Now that's an interesting question, isn't it? After all, when you pour sugar in a container, the sugar takes up the shape of the container. But we just discussed that the shape of a solid is constant. Then how can sugar be a solid? Well, the answer is quite easy. Yes, a mass of sugar does change its shape in different containers. The container on the left, the container in the middle, and the container on the right. All of them have different shapes and you can see that sugar fits in all these containers and assumes different shapes. But the important point is that the sugar crystals, the small crystals of sugar here, they do not change their shape. They are still cubical or cuboidal. It is the net mass of sugar that is changing its shape, but the sugar crystal, that is not changing its shape. These crystals here, they retain their shape, isn't it? The shape of each sugar crystal is the same no matter what container you're using. That is why we can say that sugar in general is not changing its shape. But since sugar crystals are so small, the combination of so many sugar crystals, that is changing its shape in different containers. So that is the answer of this question. Understood? Solids have a constant shape. Here's another problem. What about a sponge? We can compress a sponge, right? But solids cannot be compressed. Does that mean that a sponge is not a solid? We know that it is a solid. Well, what do you think is the answer? The answer is that a sponge has a lot of air trapped in it. As you can see, there are so many air spaces here. When we compress the sponge like this, the air escapes out of the sponge, and that is why the sponge gets compressed. Note that the actual substance, which forms the sponge, that is not getting compressed. The solid part of the sponge is not getting compressed. Air is going out of the sponge, and that is why we are able to compress the mass of sponge. Understood? So, when the sponge is not compressed, when it is in its expanded form, in that case, air is filled up inside the sponge. When we compress the sponge, the air goes out, and that is when the sponge, occupies its original shape without the air. And that is the answer for this question. Understood? So those were the properties of solids. What about the properties of liquids? Let's move on. There are many common liquids that we see in our daily life. Milk is a liquid. Kerosene oil is a liquid. Even the Coke we drink is a liquid. As you can see, liquids are all around us. One important property of liquids is that they have a fixed volume, but they don't have a fixed shape. Now that is obvious too. You can take some water in a glass, and this is how it will be. You can take the same water in a glass of higher width and lesser height, and this is how it will be. What you can see here is that the shape of the water in both cases is different. In the glass, the water forms a perfect cylinder. But in this weird glass, which is, of a greater width and smaller height, the water forms a special kind of shape, which is not a perfect cylinder. So the shape of water basically depends on the container in which the water is poured. The shape of all liquids in general depends on the container in which they are poured. However, the volume of the liquid does not change. It's constant. For example, the volume of the water in the glass on the left and the volume of water in the glass on the right, both are the same. If you take a measuring cylinder and if you pour water from both these glasses into the measuring cylinder, you will see that the level of water is exactly the same. This is because the same volume of water can be poured into different glasses and it will assume different shapes, but the volume of water won't change. Understood? There you go. The second property of liquids is that there is very less compression in liquids. Now, solids were virtually incompressible. You cannot compress them at all. Liquids can be compressed, but very, very slightly. Not much. So this is the second property of liquids. The third property of liquids is that the density of liquids is generally less than that of solids. So you could say that the same volume of a liquid will weigh much lesser than an equal volume of a solid. Understood? So for example, if you take this water glass, the water will weigh a certain amount. But when you replace this water glass with the exactly same volume of iron, look at this arrow here. This arrow is clearly showing that the weight of the iron has increased by a great amount. So when you have water, the water has a certain weight. But when you replace the water by an exactly equal volume of iron, the weight increases considerably. In fact, the mass per unit volume or the density of water is 1000 kilogram per meter cube. What this means is that approximately 1 meter cube of water weighs 1000 kilograms. However, the density of silver is 10,600 kilograms per meter cube. This means that the same 1 meter cube of silver weighs 10,600 kilograms. Can you believe that? 1 meter cube of water weighs 1000 kilograms, but 1 meter cube of silver weighs 10,600 kilograms. So as you can see, the density of liquids is less than that of solids. Another fascinating fact related to liquids is they do not fill the container completely. If you consider this brown container here, which initially has vacuum in it, that is, it does not have any gas in it. Now when you add some water to this container, you will see that the water fills up in the container only up to a certain height. It does not go up and fill the container completely. There is a lot of empty space. As you can see, this white area here represents empty space. So liquids don't fill up containers completely. Another fascinating property of liquids is that liquids flow easily. So for example, if you take this ramp and if you make water fall on this ramp, the water will flow like this. As you can see, the water keeps on flowing continuously. Flowing occurs when one part of the liquid slips over another part of the liquid, and that's why that upper part of the liquid moves on. That's when flowing occurs. It does not happen in solids. So liquids flow easily. So these were the properties of liquids. As you can see, the first property was they have a fixed volume, but they do not have a fixed shape. Then we said that liquids are hardly compressible. Then we said that liquids have lesser densities compared to solids. We also said that liquids do not fill up the container completely. They fill up any container only up till a certain height. And again, the last property of liquids is that they can flow easily. Understood? Why do liquids have these properties? Again, we'll discuss that in detail later in this chapter. Now let's turn to gases. What are the properties of gases? Well, unlike solids, which have a fixed shape and fixed volume, and unlike liquids, which don't have a fixed shape but which have a fixed volume, gases don't have either a fixed shape nor a fixed volume. If you take a container like this, and if you add chlorine gas to this container, the chlorine gas will immediately spread and fill up the entire container. So gases immediately take up the shape of the container in which they are there, and they occupy the entire space present in the container. So they don't have any fixed volume, they don't have any fixed shape. You can take 1 meter cube of air which is present in a box, and if you transfer that air to a container which has a volume of 10 meter cube, then the volume of air will become 10 meter cube. If you take the same air and put it in a container which has a volume of say 100 centimeter cube, in that case the volume of the same air will become 100 centimeter cube. So gases don't have any fixed shape and any fixed volume. They take up the volume of the container, they take up the shape of the container. Another property of gases is that gases can be compressed easily. Unlike liquids and solids. Solids, as you know, they can hardly be compressed. Liquids, same case. Gases can be easily compressed. Let's take a gas, in this box here. This is chlorine gas, which is green in color. Now, as we move this piston downwards, chlorine gas gets compressed. As you can see, the chlorine gas now only, occupies this volume here, the bottom part of this cylinder. Again, we can move this piston up and the chlorine gas will fill up the entire container. We can again compress the chlorine gas and it will again take up only a very small volume. So gases can be compressed. Unlike liquids and solids, gases have extremely low densities. This means that even a very large volume of a gas will in general weigh very, very less. If you want to compare the densities of gases and liquids, you can compare the density of air and water. The density of air is 1 by 800 times that of water. Did you know that? This means that at 0 degrees Celsius and 1 atmosphere pressure, the conditions that all of us live in, air basically is 800 times lighter than water. This means that if you take a mass balance, then you'll see that 1 liter of air weighs as much as 1.3 milliliters of water at standard temperature and pressure. Understood? Clearly, the densities of gases are much lesser than the densities of liquids, isn't it? Another important property of gases is that they flow easily. As I said earlier, flowing occurs when the particles of a substance slip over other particles of the substance and move forward. Since that happens in liquids, it happens even more easily in gases. So those were the properties of solids, liquids and gases. Do you remember them? I'll just repeat the properties of gases for you. Gases do not have a fixed shape and fixed volume. Gases can be compressed easily. Gases have very low densities and gases can flow easily. In fact, let's take a look at this table which represents the major properties of solids, liquids and gases. You can look at the table and compare the properties of solids, liquids and gases. Here's the table listing the properties of solids, liquids and gases. As you can see, solids have a fixed shape and volume, liquids have a fixed volume but no fixed shape. They take up the shape of the container. And gases, they have no fixed shape and no fixed volume. They are free to move anywhere they want. Solids cannot be compressed, liquids cannot be compressed, but gases can be compressed easily. Solids have very high densities, liquids have medium to high densities, while gases, as you just saw, they have very low densities. Similarly, solids do not fill up the container completely. Liquids also do not fill up the container completely, but if you put a gas in any container, the gas will fill up the container completely. So there will be no empty space in the container. Solids cannot flow, but liquids and gases can flow. So these are the properties of solids, liquids and gases. Now there's one doubt, isn't it? Why do solids, liquids and gases have these very properties? Like, what is it about solids that they do not flow? Why do solids not fill up the container completely? Similarly, why do solids have high densities? So what is the reason for solids, liquids and gases to have these properties? Let's study about that now. The reasons for these properties.